Welcome back, Legion. Today I want to talk to you guys about speed training. Now, most sports require an element of speed, whether it's in the water or on land. Today I'm predominantly going to refer to speed training as sprinting or accelerating on land. Now, it's important to define the difference between acceleration and max velocity speed training or sprinting. So most sports actually require more acceleration. Most sports live in that kind of 0 to 10 meters takeoff zone. It doesn't mean that max velocity isn't important, because every now and again you are going to need to get up to your maximum velocity in a game or in a training situation. So it's important to train both qualities. So when we think about acceleration, it's your ability to change speeds, basically. So you're either from a stand start or potentially a slower running speed, then changing up gearing, heading towards your maximum velocity. Now, you might only have to accelerate for 5 or 10 meters, which means that you're not going to get near max velocity, but you have to significantly increase your current speed. Max velocity, on the other hand, same thing. You might not accelerate very hard to get there. You might kind of roll into it, build, and then you're slowly working towards getting faster and faster and faster until you're topping out. You're at your absolute maximum speed. Have a think about it for your sport and where it might sit for you, which one you might do more of. But I would say in general, most field-based sports need a lot more acceleration training. But it's also really important to incorporate some more max velocity training in, because it can work on a bit of a continuum. So if you can increase your maximum velocity, you can pull up your ability to accelerate as well. Not to mention, it also has some injury preventative qualities. So hamstring strains generally happen at a high speed, at high velocities. So it's important to train your hamstrings or train your body to be able to tolerate those high speeds and those high velocities. So when you're going at slower speeds, it's less fatiguing. Okay, so why is speed and acceleration training important for your sports? One, we can think about it in a practical sense of just being able to get to the ball or the implement ahead of your opponent. So that being the first person to get to the ball or the implement, it allows you to get to maybe position quicker than the other person. It allows you to get to the disc or create play ahead of the other person. It allows you to either outrun or chase down an opponent. So whether you're offensively trying to get away or you're defensively trying to stop the other person, if you are faster, it is going to be easier for you to do that. It also gives you the perception of more time. So if you are faster, especially than your opponents, you feel like you have more time. If you have more time, you can make better decisions. That's not always a one-to-one. Sometimes really fast athletes can get a little bit out of control because they're thinking too fast. But this idea of having the ability to be quicker than other people around you does buy you a little bit more time, because now you don't need a rush, because you know you can either get away or catch up in a certain circumstances. Okay, so how do we implement this type of training into our program? Now, it's important whenever you implement it, you do it when you're fresh. There's some really high level neuromuscular properties that are required for speed and acceleration training. So it's important to do it when you're fresh and try to avoid fatigue. So sprinting after a hard training session is probably the worst thing that you can do, because there's a high level fatigue state and you're just not really going to get anything out of it. You can't possibly achieve your max velocity because you're so tired. You're also running the risk of being injured because there's a little bit of fatigue already in there. So you're really just going to run the risk of getting injured and reducing the quality of the training session. So the best place to do it is at the start of your sessions. Now, this can be at the start of your sports training session. So you'll do a good thorough warm-up, and then on the back end of the warm-up, you can add in some accelerations or some speed training. You can do it as a single session. So if you want to specifically just work on speed and acceleration in one session, that's fine. But again, do a thorough warm-up and do it as the first thing that you work on. So you're just working on speed and acceleration in that session, and that's the first thing that you can do. If you wanted to couple that with maybe some agility, I would then do some agility. And then if you wanted to get some fitness work in, you would do that at the back end. Fitness is about endurance and lasting. So it's better that you've done it last because you are trying to sustain the effort, whereas sprinting is about quality. How fast can you go? And you need to be at your absolute best to be able to get the most out of that training quality. The other place, if you're really short on time or available sessions, is you can do it in gym workouts as well. Same thing, warm up really thoroughly. You might add in a bit of a dynamic warm up at the end of your normal gym warm up, and then you would just do some sprints before you lift. It's actually a great way to prime the nervous system, so really upregulate and get your body firing and ready to go. And it's just quite practical as well, because you can come in, if you've got space to do some sprint work or some acceleration work, you can get that in, and then you can go and do your strength stuff. Now, programming for accelerations, we want to keep these between 5 and 20 meters at about 90 to 100%. We're really trying to get the most out of these qualities in regards to intensity. And we want long rest periods. 4 to 1 is the absolute minimum from a rest to work ratio. So if it takes you 5 seconds to do a sprint, you should at least be having a 20-second rest. But to be honest, we'd probably go way longer than that. The longer the better, but it does also have to be practical for you. So you can either repeat these on the minute. So if you run a 5-second 20-meter sprint, which is actually pretty slow, but if you take, say, 3 seconds, you have the rest of the minute. Yeah. So the idea is to have a longer rest so you can recover and then be able to repeat that at the absolute best. Speed training, we're looking at 30 to 60 meters. Now, this can also include a flying start. So what we mean by that is, instead of a hard acceleration at the start, you might slowly build into it. So you might spend 10 meters slowly building, and then you go. Then you really start to gear up. Now, the point of these is you've got to work towards your maximum velocity. So it doesn't really matter how fast you get to your max velocity, it's just that you need to get to your max velocity. And that's how you can change the distances. How long do you want to spend getting there? With both of these, working between 4 to 10 reps. There doesn't actually have to be a lot of volume. You can add that up into meters, 50 to 100 meters per session. You can obviously do more depending on the type of year, but this is pretty good. 4 to 10 reps is pretty good. You can definitely overdo it. A good way to know whether you've done enough is if you start to feel yourself getting slower. There's no point doing slow speed reps, because then it's not speed training anymore. Probably only need to do this once to twice per week, and try and separate it at least 48 hours apart. It may not seem like much, especially the training itself, like it's very fast and then long rest, and it seems like you're not working that hard, but it is very, very fatiguing on the body. The central nervous system, your brain and your nerves, need to work really hard because you're moving so fast. There's so many things going on in such a short period of time that they need to recover from this training. And if you're quite new to it as well, sometimes your muscular system needs a bit of recovery as well. You can get some DOMS, some muscle soreness, especially in the hamstrings, if you're quite new to the speed training. So it's important to give yourself more than enough rest in between bouts as well. Okay, hopefully that was helpful, guys. Thanks.